How you doing, Eric?
I am doing great, Matthew. How are you today?
Good. Today we're going to discuss some of the most common objections, or as we like to say at Virtual Sales RX, head trash, as to why people either avoid or they struggle to get started with any level of consistency on personalized videos. So, do you mind if I ask the first question and then we'll just kind of trade back and forth?
Absolutely, go for it.
So, in your experience, objection number one seems to be it's too difficult to record personal videos and it's too time consuming. How do you counter that argument that we hear so often that it takes too long and you've got to be an established videographer to begin recording personalized videos?
I used to think the same exact way. I thought, man, how am I going to make this look like a cinematographer would, or how am I going to get the quality that I'm looking for? And the reality is, if you have one of these, you are already at the top of your game. And if you can hit record, people don't care at what your perceived quality of the video is. And if you notice why TikTok and some of these other platforms are so successful, it is live, it is natural, it is native video that is occurring, and people see that as someone they can trust. They don't expect to have top-notch video that they're watching. So I can say that from the beginning, I was the same way. I thought, how am I going to do this? And then once I started utilizing personalized video just by taking a quick snippet on my phone, it changed everything. And it not only has to be a phone, it can be your webcam that you're sitting at your desk and you hit record, and boom, away you go. And there's different softwares that you can integrate with those videos. But by far nowadays, especially as all phones and or webcams are upgrading, that is not a worry anymore in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, today I was talking to somebody that is currently going through our virtual sales RX program. And one of the things that he mentioned to me today was that was a big aha for him, is how we had recommended Vidyard as an easy software that allowed him, without any video skills, without any editing skills or recording skills, to be up, running, and be able to press record. And then from a time standpoint, he reminded me, for those of us who come from medtech, he reminded me of the day to day, Eric, of the grind of driving across town, the grind of dropping off brochures. And the way that he had recalibrated time was he looked at it and said, how easier and more effective it is to send personalized videos sharing what he would have said if he was face to face with them. So I like that. All right, Eric, you got a question for me?
Yeah, one of the objections, or I guess one of the concerns that we always get is, I have no idea what to say. I haven't gotten any kind of idea of what message am I trying to provide? What am I trying to say? Should I have a script in front of me? What do you say to that when someone says, "Oh boy, it's almost like a writer's block, but it's the video provider block, I guess we'll call it in this instance." What do you say to that?
Yes. I say it's quite common for all of us. And you're not alone. If you're challenged by what to say, here's the truth that we've uncovered in sales, marketing, and business development. We often operate as if we've got all the time and access with a prospect. When the truth is it's more difficult to engage with prospects today than ever. It's one of the reasons, Eric, why you and I, gosh, it's 4.5 years now. 4.5 years ago, began testing personalized video during COVID-19 when we were separated from not having face to face access. And one of the big hurdles that you and I crossed was we were teaching people on day one how to create personalized videos. But on day two, we realized very quickly we must teach people how to frame compliant and creative messages in 1 minute and 2 minutes. And the truth is that most of us have not been taught a framework of how to do that. So, Eric, can I show you a fancy whiteboard? Will you hold on for just a second?
When you say fancy, I say, please show us.
It's going to be fancy. Here we go. Just a second.
I love it.
All right, Eric. You've seen this how many thousands of times?
I'm going to go with 10,000 at this point.
That's right. So this is just a real world example of how we look at frameworks to communicate. This is the answer to the question that you asked, which is, I don't know what to say. Well, at Virtual Sales RX, we created an entire virtual swipe file community with frameworks that are proven to communicate. As recent as this morning at 7:01 a.m., Eric, I'm telling you, I went to our Virtual Sales RX swipe file community and I took 2 of those messages or recommended frameworks, and I sent those to 2 different people today. So you and I, like thousands of other students, must learn how to speak and communicate in the framework of inciting curiosity, having a hook that creates a mental stop sign, understanding how to transition into demonstrated interest. Here's how we're solving this problem for others just like you. Here's what you should consider doing next. So, what do you think? You think I answered that complete enough for you?
Yeah, it was wonderful. And that's exactly what I was wanting for you to convey is that, listen, your message is so about what you want to say, not necessarily about what you think they want to hear. It's actually what you're trying to convey. And if you've been in sales long enough, or if you're just starting in sales, you want to convey a message to your prospective customer, and whatever that message may be. And remember that, another objection we get is, hey, personalized videos video doesn't seem too personal. Live interactions, one-on-one, that's a much better thing for me. Yes, it is. But with with video as well as being in conjunction with this, it just builds know, like, and trust in a faster, more compliant way, like you had spoken about before.
Yeah, I was hoping you would answer that, because that was going to be my question to you, which is, the objection we hear are videos, they feel less personal than face-to-face interactions. And you and I have often responded with, well, how's that working for you?
Right.
We can agree it's more difficult to gain face-to-face access. So what personalized videos do is they take the dependency on, I got to grovel to schedule an appointment so that we can meet Tuesday at 3:30, and I come from the parking garage with Dunkin' Donuts and a gallon of coffee. What we've done is we've exchanged access for earning attention. What we know to be true is that the personal touch occurs when we send brief, purpose-filled messages, giving away our best ideas, as you said earlier, that are what they need to hear rather than a focus of what we want to say. Do that in 1 and 2 minutes. And when we do that successfully, it decreases the time that it takes to earn know, like, and trust, so that when we do meet in person, it goes from a personal introduction to, Eric, they feel like they already know us and perhaps even trust us. So, all right, Eric, you got a question for me?
Yeah, I think that in medtech, and we'll go towards the medtech side of this at this point in time, and this is with physicians and or medtech salespeople. people like, man, I don't know, this video stuff, client data, HIPAA laws, compliance, things like that. That kind of scares me. How do we address those issues? And I thought this would be a perfect thing for you to talk about because you know it all so well.
We can agree. You and I come from med tech. Many of the people that have learned our virtual sales RX methodology are in med tech. The short answer is we're either compliant or we're not. Personalized video changes nothing from the compliancy equation. So in med tech, we're hyper aware of what we say, what we do, what we communicate as being something that could be held up in a court of law. I mean, Eric, I don't even know if I've shared this with you, but I was subpoenaed and appeared in front of judges and a court 8 times. Not from something that I did non-compliantly, but rather from a lawyer's standpoint, they needed to make sure that what I communicated, what our sales team communicated, was compliant. And so you and I are not trading creativity for compliance. We're saying that you can be compliant, different, and still be creative. Does that make sense, Eric?
It does make perfect sense. Yeah, you're not trading, obviously one-on-one face-to-face interaction is one-on-one face-to-face interaction. That's what we all say is, where we want to get to. It's just video is a piece of that puzzle. They can really provide know, like, and trust in let's say, a more streamlined approach. And that can always be compliantly done.
How are you answering this question about an uncertainty of ROI? So if somebody came to you and said, hey, how do I measure the return on investment with videos, perhaps in a way that is either different or maybe even better than the way that we traditionally measure ROI?
Well, you say something that I famously say over and over again. It's like the statement you make or the question you pose, what's the ROI of your mother? It's exactly what, that if you think of that and you don't smile, then you're not understanding what we're saying. Is the ROI that's there, is it hard to measure? No, it's not really hard to measure, because think about you driving all over the countryside and dropping off information and doing all these different things that take you hours and hours and hours. Just think of it this way. What's the ROI? 3 videos just saved you 22 hours in the car. That's a pretty good return on your investment of maybe 3 minutes. I shared some information earlier this week on a video where a small amount of time that I sit and do videos is just such an incrementally small amount in comparison to what I used to do when I would get on the phone and then make an appointment, jump in a car, get there. And what you alluded to earlier, me and my bag of donuts and my coffee, they weren't there to hear Eric's message. They were there to get his coffee and donuts. So, the ROI is, it's very easily seen, what you can save, whether it be in time, and how that extrapolates out. That's a whole different story.
Yeah. On Monday, I had a sales leader reach out to me asking about ROI. And I asked this gentleman if he was open to going with me to behind the scenes to my personal data metrics. And Eric, as you know, I'm averaging right now a 77.2% engagement rate from the personalized videos that I send out. I'm sending 7 prospecting videos before 7:01 a.m. to 7 different people. I do that without fail 6 days a week, as well as using personalized video for proficiency and as well as efficiency, which is when it's much easier for me to just explain or answer a question to somebody rather than type it out and send it out. The second that somebody opens up a video that I send, the second I get alerted, it will then tell me after they've opened it the percentage that they consumed. It will tell me if they shared it with somebody, and it will identify the location of where they shared it to whom. I mean, that's a level of ROI that most organizations don't have. And so when you and I discuss the balance between personalization and return on investment, it's unparalleled. All right, Eric, ask me a tough one. I got my baller hat on, my quiet luxury hat on, so I'm ready.
All right, this is the one where I think I'm going to get you. Let's see what you have for this one.
Okay.
Personalized videos might be seen as intrusive or overly aggressive marketing. In your face, all the time, people are just going to switch it off and go, enough is enough. What do you say to that?
It's only intrusive if it doesn't add value. That's my short answer. My extended answer is you and I created Virtual Sales RX, and coaches who are a part of this program are prepared to teach people the concept that it's not about the mechanics of a video. It's about sharing our best ideas, virtual and time shifted. When you and I honestly look at ourselves in the mirror and in 1 minute or 2 minute reach out to prospects that have a certain challenge that we know how to solve, we share that. We share different examples of that. We look at it from different aspects. When we do that, that is the ultimate humility in my book. And the reason why it's not intrusive is that in my 4.5 years of sending personalized videos, and as you know, Eric, I'm past 29,000 personalized videos at this point. And I can tell you honestly, I've never once had a person go, for the love of all that's holy, please stop adding value. I've never once had that happen. And I think it's because we're telling people video's not the solution. Rather, the solution is to solve problems, share unique perspectives to people that you want to help. And the reason why we do it through video is because it allows us to scale in a way that we could not do if we were dependent upon knocking on doors and having an invitation to meet with someone. That's my answer.
As I say all the time to people, when you're doing personalized videos, it's about value, value, value. Whether you're creating content, you're sending a video to someone who's a prospective customer, whatever you're doing, if you're providing value, you're 99% of the way there.
Yeah. Eric, I have years under my belt where I tried to sell stuff to busy people, and it doesn't work great. What flipped for me 4.5 years ago when we started this, what flipped the switch for me was, what if I gave away my best ideas for free? I took the emphasis off of my wants and I put the emphasis on the other person, in this case, the prospect, their needs. I never, ever, ever spoke longer than 3 minutes so that I wouldn't burn too many mental calories. What if I did that at scale? And, you know, I've got a post coming out tomorrow where I share what a difference it's made, not only for you and I, but in our respective businesses, how we've been able to multiply the different businesses that you and I run. And I would never go back to the days of picking up the phone, doing a fat fingered text based email, or wine and dine a busy prospect. I would never go back to those days. It's completely unnecessary. And that's my response to that question.
Yeah, so well said. I'm right there with you. The days of stalking people at wherever that may be and trying to entice them into sitting down for free food somewhere, those days are long gone. Those days are now about creating know, like, and trust, and dinners are about celebrating doing business together. That's where it should be going in your sales cycle.
Well, Eric, I think what we accomplished in the past 20 minutes was really important, which was just to address head on the objections that we receive. We think it's important. We understand why people would have objections. We understand why people have hesitation about using personalized video. However, we want you to know that personalized video humanizes sales, amplifies your value proposition, and scales your time like nothing we've ever seen. And we felt it was important not to run away from those objections, but to address those head on.
Yes, and this was very well timed in the respect that, you and I get these questions all the time. And this is going to be a perfect example of how we provide value. You can take this idea from us. We created this video because we wanted this to be an evergreen video, whereas people go by and they go, oh, objections to personalized. I don't really like that personalized video. Let me watch this. And we're going to record this once, and it is going to provide value over and over and over again to those at scale. And if you can see how that may work for us by doing this now, think about what it can do for your business.
Yeah, what we'll do, Eric, is we'll chop this up into individual questions and segments, and we'll share that freely on LinkedIn. And then we'll take the full recording and we'll put that on our virtual sales RX community. But we wanted to address, if you're having objections, perfectly normal. If you want to have further question or dialogue with us, by all means, send Eric or I a DM. We'll be happy to chat with you. So thanks again for your time, Eric.
Yeah, thank you, Mathew. Appreciate it.